Good morning, everybody. Thanks for attending this tech tip. We're always told as little kids to share. That's what we're going to be talking about today is sharing information. That's something that Onshape is really, really good at. And we just want to be able to talk a little bit about how we can control it a little bit more. So what we have up here is just an image. It's of a throttle body, but we have the 3D assembly sitting here. Also, this is a fully developed product. So we have other things like the casting of that. We have casting drawing. And we also have, let's open this guy up. We also have a machine drawing and actually a variety of other documents that go along with this, not just the photo rendered image that we had before, but also some Word documents and movies and just all the types of things that we would need to support this particular product. So what we've always done in the past, let's say that we wanted to share this, I would share it. Let's say we want to share the drawing with, maybe the machine shop. I'm going to say, let's share this. And in the past, most of the presentations that I've done in the past, we'll share it with individuals, right? Or with teams or something like that. Today, we're going to talk about link sharing. So we're going to share it with people that are outside the company. So it says, do you want to turn on link sharing? I will say yes. And then it says, copy to clipboard this link share. So I'm going to copy that. And to kind of simulate, now I can send this link to anybody. I could email it to them. I could text it to them. But let's hit this. Let's say I emailed it to somebody. They would click on the link and it brings up the throttle body that we saw. So again, I'm sending this to our, let's say the machine shop guys. And so you'll notice that they didn't have to log in. They didn't have to do anything. You could create an account here if you wanted to. If you were an existing user, you could sign in. But what we see here is that drawing. And so they get exactly what I shared out. But they also get these other things as well. So we can see over here, they get the casting body and they get the full assembly. And really the thing that we wanted is just to send the machine shop the drawing by itself. Here's a nice, general assembly view, but machine shop guys don't care about that. So what we wanted to talk about today is how do we share just part of this out? So I'm going to close this out for right now. And the way we would do that is I could take this machine body and I could say, let's move this document, right? So what we need to do is remove it from here because when we do a link sharing, it shares everything that we have in our workspace. So I'm going to say, let's move to a new document and we'll call this maybe machine_share. And it says move all reference tabs. I'm going to say no, right? I just want this drawing to go and I'll say move. So that's created a new document. And in theory, the only thing that should be in there is the model that I moved over there, or the drawing. So I'm going to pop up another window that we can make use of in a minute here. And let's go over, let's close this guy out. I'm going to say, let's go find that drawing that I made, or that shared document. So machine share is right here. I'm going to open that up. And upon opening it, you'll notice that we just have just the one tab down here because that's just what we had was the drawing when we shared that out. So didn't share out any of the other tabs at all. And one thing I do want to point out as well is because I moved it to a new document, so let's go over and take a look at this. The machine tab, right, that I had physically did move. It is no longer with my original Part Studio, right? And that might not be a desirable thing. I might not have wanted to, start spreading it all over and not have the original. So if we go back, here's our drawing that came up, and again, it's just the drawing that's there. And then from here, I can go over and say, let's do a link share of this. So I've made an interim copy of this basically, or moved it to another document. And I'm gonna say, let's copy that. And we'll come back over here and say paste. And again, what we're gonna see is the same interface. It just gives us exactly what we sent. And again, we don't have to create an account or anything, but we see that. So now we're just sharing out just that one particular drawing. So that's the way to do it, is to move it. So I'll kind of close this out for right now. And let's go over and go back to our original. Now I really wanted to not remove that from my, and I can move them back in and do this, but what I want to do is really make a duplicate. So let's say we have our general arrangement drawing that we saw here before. And one of the things I might want to do with that is share that down to the shop floor for the assembly guys to put together. And it could be internal to our company, or maybe people put this together, assemble it for us outside of our company. So in this particular case, I want to just give them this drawing, but I also want to keep it here along with all the other things that I have. So I'm just going to go here and say, let's duplicate this. So it's created a duplicate drawing. And now this is the one. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, let's move him to a new document. So I'm moving the duplicate, I'm keeping the original. And we'll call this one, let's just call it assembly share. We'll move that. So again, we can go back here. Let's close this guy out. And here's our assembly share. So this is the copied in assembly drawing, the duplicate. So we made a duplicate, moved it into a new document, and now this is the one that we could go over and say we want to go and share this, link sharing. We'll copy that. Let me pop up a window here. Cut and paste. And again, we'll see what we've seen before is that this brings in the assembly share of just the Explorer view. So we send this to our assembly people, and that's great. So I'm going to move this off to the side for right now. Now, maybe now that they have access to this, they say, well, it would be kind of nice if we could have the 3D model too, so we could kind of interrogate that individually and see how that works out. So I could say, yeah, that's great. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm duplicating the assembly as well. And then I've duplicated that. I'm just going to say, let's move this to a document. Let's move it to the same document that we had before. So let's say other document. And that was under here, it's our share assembly. So it's existing. It's going to make a version. So it makes a version of this assembly and shares that out. So we're sharing a version. Oh, moving reference tabs. I probably shouldn't have done that, but so now that we've moved that, if we go over and take a look at our shared version, you notice that it's brought in that throttle body. So now I have both of those. So I've sent that, and I've also sent the individual parts because I didn't say don't send those other parts. So those are there as well. But we can see that now in our shared assembly, we have not only the drawing, but we also have that updated so that they do have the 3D model in case they want to individually interrogate that. Going back to our shared version here, remember we link shared that. If we refresh this, you'll notice that the throttle body is in there, right? Because it's linked. So whatever I do to the shared version will update in the linked version. So now they get these listed documents as well, which is what they asked for. And again, they're getting them for free without a license or anything like that. So then the next thing I want to talk about is a little bit about documentation, because we're sharing models, we're sharing drawings, things like that. Let's go back and take a look at our documentation. And we saw that we have a movie here inside our documents folder. So I could say, let's take a look at that. And it plays a movie, and we can see the movie here. Hopefully that's playing on your screen. But we'll pause that. We also have a Word document. Now the difference between this, and let's go back to this for a second. We also had this rendered image. So I'm going to bring that into documentation as well. So now we have a folder full of different documents. So we have a movie. We clicked on that. If we click on this, we'll see that. And then if we click on the Word document, we see this. So there's a difference. When we start sharing out other documents, and documents and not just models and drawings, if we can see that right away, like with this or with a movie, that gets shared out. If I tried to share a Word document with somebody using the link sharing, they would just get this image. They wouldn't be able to download or update. It's kind of saving a snapshot of this. That's kind of what they're getting. So just be aware of that if we trying to send an Excel or a PowerPoint or Word doc or something like that, it would be best not to keep it in that format, but put it in maybe kind of a JPEG or some type of image that is brought up right away. So let me kind of show you how that works. So we'll go back to our general throttle, and let's say that this is kind of a care package that we want to put together, some information. Maybe we're going to send it to purchasing or to somebody. They need different documentation for that. So with this, I'm just going to say, let's grab some of these files. I could say, let's grab the rendered image, and we could say, let's just move that, and we'll send that to our document that we've been working on, just to add it to that. Creating a version of that there. So that's been brought over. And then also, I'll bring in the Word doc just so you can see what that looks like. But I'm going to say, let's move that over to the same one. So now that we've shared a couple of documents over there, we can go and take a look at them. We can see under documentation, there's the Word document. And then also under this guy, here's our image. So now we want to link share or really update our link sharing, right? So now these are included in that share, which was link shared out. So we take a look at this, we'll refresh it. And we can see that, and then we can also see that we've brought across the rendering and the Word doc. You notice it's just like this. There's no Word document. So that's what I mean before, that if you're going to link share out a Word document, put it in some other type of format that just comes up right away, but not like this. So, like I said, bitmaps, movies, those type of things come across really well. So that's just something to be aware of if we wanted to send out that type of information to somebody. Now, just as one final highlight as we're coming to the end of what I wanted to cover here today is that if things were to change and I were to go back and make some changes to these parts, if I were going to change their color, make some holes in them, change the draft on the casting or something like that, I would go back then to my shared version and say update those, and then those would automatically be updated in the link version. So if things do continue to change, we can go back and have that all roll down back into that link shared uh, files and things that we gave to them. So in this, here's the link sharing stuff. If we were to change some things, we would see those updates here after we would say, update it with the new version. So that's kind of a real quick synopsis of being able to share things, but share them individually or pick and choose what you wanted to share with people. The takeaway is probably make a duplicate of it, share that or move that to a document, and then share that document out. And that's probably the best way of getting just the information you wanted to send out to the people who need it.